Microphone's plugged in. Laptop charger is plugged in. Lights are on. Did I change the title of the actual stream? Let's see. Did I do that? Yes, I did. Okay. That is good. Cool. Alright, I'm live. Stream health is yellow. We'll wait till it gets in the green before I start saying anything meaningful. Hopefully there are no launches of spacecrafts or anything going on today, because I know I can't stream on those days because of reasons. It just doesn't work. Too many people are doing things. Alright, stream health. Still in the yellow. Oh my god. I don't know. Well, nobody's here yet. In any case, this is Sarah. It's Friday. People will be showing up here later on this afternoon for the kiddie pool night, which I desperately need to kind of get a bathing suit. Not that I wear a bathing suit. I need to get in the pool and take a load off. It occurred to me last night just how much work I actually had to get done in the very near future, and I'm trying to stream all of this assembly just for continuity's sake, because it's going to be a lot more difficult to pick up if I skip steps, like don't show certain things. So, I don't know, I'm trying to remain diligent in my streaming efforts. Let's see, I'm going to pop the chat out again. Pop out chat. Because it always kind of gets stuck for some reason. Alright. There we go. Cool. What am I doing today? A lot of stuff. There's like multiple things that I'm going to try and get done before my friend Matt gets off work at 6. He'll probably be here by 6:30. It is currently 3:14 Las Vegas time. It is the first day of DEF CON. I won't be there. I might show up tomorrow early and do NoodleCon and wear my suck choker thing there to give it a proper dry run, but it's not going to happen today because it's not finished. It's not ready to wear. And I got some stuff to do, and alas, it's kiddie pool night, and I'm not going to cancel kiddie pool night for any reason. I need to get my hair cut. Anyhow. So, I'm gonna turn the camera down to... Wait, I already did that. Switch the camera down to show you what... There we go. Okay. What I'm doing today. So I'm picking up where I left off with the Noodle legs. So during my last stream, I was putting Noodle's new leg assemblies together. That's these things right here. I think I'm gonna wash my hands real quick just because they're kind of gross. And I kind of want to not dirty up Noodle's new appendages, just out of respect for Noodle. And the parts that I'm going to be touching are kind of white transparent, as you can see right here. So are those. Those are also white. So I'm going to get some of this machine oil stuff grime off of my fingertips. Probably should have done that before I started the stream, but I'm kind of like really hectic battle mode, high octane, filled with adrenaline right now for reasons. So I'll be right back in just like 2 seconds. Let me just scrub for a second. Alright. Hey, AP Tech. Those are Dynamixels. Those are Noodle's new leg motors. That light is kind of washing stuff out. Is that better? Is that worse? Is that better or worse? It's probably alright. It can be a little bit grainy. Okay, so I think that's a little bit easier on the eye, even if it's not quite as light out. Can probably here. There we go. Cool. That's a little better. Okay, so first order of business on today's stream is going to be finishing up putting together the fibula to Noodle's new leg bones, which is what I started doing during yesterday's stream. I assembled these three guys, and this took a really long time because there's like a million screws and nuts that need to be pushed inside of the little motor tabs, but I had to stop the stream because I didn't think ahead and print these little spacer doodads that I have right here. And these are kind of vital because they attach the one half of the fibula to the motors here. In what orientation? Okay, that goes down. So that goes like this. That makes sense. Okay, so the reason why I have two separate pieces is because the mounting plate for the motors is kind of far apart. If you put one on the top and one on the bottom, I think that's a 32 millimeter gap, which is pretty damn wide, and I wanted to close that in a little bit because these two parallel bars sandwich Noodle's femur bone together, and I didn't want to connect to the femur bone via some standoffs or spacers to kind of close the gap. So instead, there are two... Damn. It's super windy out. I apologize if you can hear that. Via these secondary pieces right here. There we go. They go like this. Bam. So the standoffs hold these, which are the proper fibula bones, kind of at a proper distance. There we go. So that this is like the actual space needed to sandwich the fibula bone, or the femur bone, so that they're actually making contact with the bone and there's no gaps or weird extra space going on. So I'm going to slide one of these guys in between at each of these holes, I guess. There's 3 holes, one there, and one there. And that is how the motors are mounted to the actual bone proper. Sorry if that totally didn't make any sense. I'm kind of frazzled right now. I think like it occurred to me exactly how much I have to get done, and by when this morning. So I woke kind of a little bit stressed. And it hasn't really faded or gone away or tapered off. So I'm just kind of in this fight or flight mode right now, I guess. I don't know. I think 10s are gonna be too. Doesn't matter. Mark's out getting food for tonight. If any of the guys are watching who will be here later, we are having buffalo wraps. Yeah. Okay, 12s will be 2, small 2. Which means I'm gonna have to use 16s? I don't think I have size 14. I did run to the hardware store earlier today to get to get the sizes that I ran out of during yesterday's stream, so this afternoon involved a very quick jaunt over to McFaddenDale, which is our local hardware store here in Las Vegas. I was sort of kicking around the idea of going to... That's actually not gonna work, is it? Nope, it will. Okay. I was toying with the notion of going down to the Paris today for NoodleCon, but I can't really justify doing it right now. I need to kind of make as much progress as I can every day, probably up until the end of this month, because I've got a lot to do. And as much as I've tried to get it all done ahead of time, like, that never ends up happening. I always end up working right up until, like, the very last minute. And not necessarily because things aren't ready, it's just I always find additional things that I could do, that I would like to. I guess, long story short, if there is time between an event and the current time, I will fill it with something and make my life miserable. It's a disease. But anyhow, hi Nikoman. I'm easy on the eye. Hehe, thanks. I don't feel that way, but I appreciate that you told me that. I feel like a old trash monster. I feel like a, I don't know, a vagabond. That's a good word for me. I'm a techno-vagabond. I'm a robohemian. Alright. I don't know. But yeah, I'm like going through this, you know, that like fear of missing out sensation that people talk about? I'm experiencing that right now because it's the first day of the conference, and normally I would be there like hanging out at the food court, visiting all my friends, but I'm not. So I'm kind of bummed. But in the realm of things that you would miss a party for, this is kind of worth it. Because all the stuff that I'm busy preparing right now is for another event coming up next month that I really want to kick ass at, I guess. More important party. I'm preparing for a bigger party. I'm missing a party to prepare for a bigger party. That's what's happening right now. Those of you who have gone to DEF CON know what that's all about. It's very intimidating, not because of what the tone, or like, not because of what the conference is about, but because there's so many people publicly displaying the fun, like, mischievous times that they're having, that you feel this strange social pressure to be doing the same caliber of stuff at this conference. So, at least for me, I see all of everyone's posts of all of the cool, interesting stuff that they're doing, or stuff that they're finding to do there, and I want to either be included or bring some level of my own mischief to the table. It's a very, very strong feeling. I don't know if that makes any goddamn sense, but I guess I could probably sum it up as that fear of missing out anxiety that you often hear people reference. Okay, so that's basically how those are all going to attach. And again, this is to close the distance between the two bones. Oh my god, I didn't... I didn't turn off the autofocus. I really wish that wouldn't reset every stream. Autofocus. Don't do that, computer. Alright. There we go. Okay. So after I'm done doing this portion of the assembly, hey Kia, hey Major Phaser, hi guys. I'll try to poke my nose down, but I'm warning, just a heads up, I'm probably going to chat a little bit less this stream because there are some things I really need to get done. And as I mentioned earlier, I will try to stream all of it because I don't... The problem with this is now that I've started streaming the assembly of all this stuff, it's going to be, it's gonna suck if I do any progress without streaming it, because if I stream and skip steps, the continuity will be all fucked, and then no one will know what I'm doing anymore. I guess it doesn't really matter, but I don't know. It'll bug me. And I'm gonna be assembling like 50 different things from here on out all at the same time. It's gonna get really confusing. So after this, all those tasting feet that I've been releasing videos kind of recapping lately, I'm making analog turn crank versions of the mechanisms that are inside of those feet, and most of the parts that are on the periphery of the table right now, where I'm sitting, kind of off in the margins, there's little piles of all those parts, and they're waiting to be put together like custom Lego sets, which is kind of exciting. But now that they've all gotten mixed together and everything, it's going to be a little bit of a nightmare to figure out what parts go to what. I'll figure it out. It'll be okay. But there's 4 of them that I need to put together. And I need to get Noodle's new body ready before he gets shipped away. And I don't know if I mentioned this the last stream, but I kind of set my own hard deadline for this as the 20th of this month, because he's gonna get shipped away shortly after that, so he needs to be ready to go by that day, probably the 19th or 18th. So that leaves me with like 10 days from now to get it all sorted, and I don't want to be doing that up until the last minute. Like, I want to get it all ready and then have like an extra day or two to like really feel comfortable knowing that I've got everything where it needs to be and that I'm not forgetting anything. You know how that goes. It's never fun packing for like a trip the night before or the morning of. I say night before. The morning of. It's never fun because you always kind of leave the house with that fear that you forgot something really important. And I might not have printed enough spacers. How did I fuck that up? Let's see, so there's gonna be 1, 2, 4, 6. 6. Okay, how did I fuck that up? I've been really bad at counting lately. Or conceptualizing how much of certain things I need. I don't know why. Okay, so I printed enough spacers for 2 of these. So I guess that's all that's getting done just yet. Actually, I'm gonna go start the printer, and it takes 40 minutes to print 12 of these little spacers, so hopefully they'll be done by the time I'm putting this and maybe one of the other things together, and then I can go back. So I'll be right back. Hi, Vi! Hey. Noodle, 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 he's here. He's angry because I'm not doing NoodleCon today. Should have been my day to do NoodleCon at the food court on the strip, but I've got stuff to do. Ooh, I can't wait to see your creation, Kia. I'll go check. I'll check when I'm done with the stream. But yeah, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go start that print. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that. Cheers, guys. Okay, this is our last beer. This is our last cerveza worth of michelada. Here, I'm gonna toast you guys. Cheers, happy Friday. I don't know if you're having tea or coffee or anything, whatever. Cheers. Happy hour. Because it's not even happy hour here. Forget it. Doesn't matter. I'm gonna try and get 3 things done today before I end the stream. One of those things is I'm going to assemble as many of these as I can, because as I mentioned, I didn't print enough spacers. Whatever. I can't actually attach these to his femur bones because there's a hole, one hole that needs to be tapped with a 3mm thread. There's like this little dew claw that sticks out the back of Noodle's heel, and it's responsible for holding this little Y bracket thing that holds a spring. One of those tension springs. And if you're familiar with the Noodle anatomy, you know that that's kind of the thing, the magic sauce that helps Noodle stand up all on his own. Kind of helps his motors hold up the weight of his head. Look at this ridiculous thing I'm doing with my hands right now. Waiting for the nut thread to catch. Come on. Getting hardware in there is not easy. She throws it across the room. Can I get it with my finger? But yeah, that hole needs to be threaded. The little hole that holds the dew claw thing. Because it's on a separate wall. Like it attaches to the back of his leg for the sake of these parallel bars folding up on top of the actual femur. If the dew claw was attached to the sides, like all the other bones, it would actually get in the way when the leg tried to fold up. So that's the reason why I attach it directly to the back in one hole versus sandwiching it in place like I am doing all of his other parts. I'll show you what I mean in a bit. I will illustrate it properly. So the other thing I need to do after this is assemble Noodle's roller throat. I think I put that in the stream title. I think I have all the parts that I need to put that together, and I already tested out the turn crank, so that thing works too. It's kind of cool. There's like a bearing in there and an actual functioning crank, and when you turn it, it turns the little gearbox on the inside, and it will make both of the conveyor belts rotate against each other. So if you put the module on top of something, the belts should probably pull it up, and it will simulate the whole swallowing effect that foot does. Oh god. Mark is currently at the store getting food for tonight's pool party thing that we're doing. So he'll be back eventually at some point. In the meantime, though, I can get as much of this done as I possibly can. Yay. And I do have my fancy drink. Aw, Vi, if you get some tomato juice or some clamato, I can walk you through how to make one of these. And you can make one at home. Although, I wish you were here because I would totally make one for you. I just bought a ton of hardware. I bought like $50 worth of hardware because I really, really don't want to run out of anything right now. Our printer started acting up too, like ever since we tried to, well, I put TPU in it last weekend to print that lattice. It's been like really not happy, and it's been failing doing things that Prusas typically don't have problems doing, which really kind of bums me out because I always rely on the printer just working now, and now that it's being extra fussy, I'm not cranking out parts at the speed that I would like to, and that's making me really, really kind of sort of uncomfortable. It reminds me of how fucked I would be if I didn't have a printer. Not that my friends don't have printers, but I'm to the point where I'm like printing stuff constantly. I'm pretty much done. Like, I think I've got mostly everything printed at this part, for the most part. There's a couple little things that I forget, like spacers and stuff, that I end up having to do in the moment, just like these. Okay, so that's a finished one. That's one Noodle fibula with motors. So this is the thing that I'm cranking out at the moment. Hey Jeremy, long time no see, how have you been? How's everybody, by the way? I haven't asked that yet. Hopefully everybody's doing alright. I mean, I think I'm doing alright. I'm just stressed. Probably means I'm gonna have to switch to Bloody Marys for later on tonight, because we are out of the cerveza. It's a bummer. Like, we have whatever's in the keg, but I want to say that, and I've mentioned this like in a previous stream, I know I have, it's like really high alcohol content, and it doesn't taste like it, but I've noticed that if we drink it like normal beer, everyone gets really like laid out and tired, and I don't know if that's a statement of the alcohol content or if there's just some like tannin or some other bullshit in there that is giving everybody like a beer hangover really easily. It's not a very good like night longevity beer. Like, if you're gonna sit outside in the heat and sip beer in a pool, that's not the one to do it with. We've kind of decided unanimously. I could use Vi as labor. Aww! Vi, if Vi was here, he would not be doing labor. We would probably be at DEF CON doing fun stuff, because I'm not gonna... If I had a friend here, we would be doing cool things. I would not subject anyone to missing the excitement that is DEF CON just to get shit done. Oh god. No, that's not yet. We'd be out at the Paris or something at Mon Ami Gabi, which is my favorite restaurant in the city is at the Paris, which is one of the properties DEF CON is at this year. So I would probably take up residence at the bar there, which I think I might do tomorrow, to be perfectly honest. If I can't find a good food court to sit at, like I did at Caesar's Palace last year, I'm probably going to go to Mon Ami, like a swaggy fucker, and sit at the bar there and order a carafe of frangria, which is their French sangria. It has Grand Marnier in it. It is very delicious and very alcoholic, and I will invite my friends to come and hang out with me just like I did last year. And whoever wants to stop by and say hi can. No obligations. And then I'll get to see my people if they decide to take a break from all the festivities. If they like. But that's what we'd probably be doing. Vi, if you were out here, I'm thinking. If we weren't prowling the convention hall, that is. Oh my god, no. Oh god. Don't launch nuts across the room. Doing all these violent things with nuts during this build, jeez. Bad raptor. Yesterday I was jamming nuts in holes, now I'm like squeezing and tightening them. It's like, man. Violent. But yeah, like nothing excites me more than assembling stuff that I've designed, but it's also the thing that can potentially frustrate me the most too. And I think I experience both things like in close proxy to one another, and it makes me feel rather manic. Because I think it's very rewarding to have made something, but it can also be very frustrating during the process as well. But yeah, I think one of my goals for the evening is going to be to prepare the suck choker for its kind of public debut tomorrow. It's one of the main peripherals that I'm going to be walking around Ars Electronica wearing, and I've talked to my project manager about that, and they're like, yeah, where are all your Shibon stuff? And I'm like, cool. I'm curious how it's going to go over. I mean, that's part of the project, is wearing this stuff in public and seeing what the reaction is of humans, and then discussing what I've made with like random people that I meet in the wild. So I think it's a really good opportunity to do a dry run at a technical conference where it's not completely weird to be doing that around other hardware hackers and security folk. So the thing that I'm curious about is whether or not I get really bad hickeys from wearing this thing for extended period of time. Because they do, even after like 10-15 minutes of wearing it, leave actual hickeys on my neck. So if I have the thing on for like, I don't know, like an hour, for instance, I'm kind of concerned what that's going to do to my skin. I mean, granted, it's not like the most hardcore hickey. It's still a hickey, and I know that's not really good for your body. Last year, I think the thing I did for my, well, that I did was a hell of a lot worse. I wore Noodle feet and a papoose around DEF CON last year, so he was actually hanging on my chest like an infant. But the papoose that I built for him didn't transfer the weight properly down to like my core, so a lot of that weight was just sort of hanging on the back of my neck. And I really, really, really gave myself a sore back by doing that. And I did that at a Comic-Con. So I did like a double whammy of Noodle carting, towing last year. And after Comic-Con, I was like, okay, I'm retiring this thing. Noodle needs to walk. No more of this carrying the baby around. Noodle needs to carry his own weight from now on. Wait, what? What is Snakebite, Diesel, or Lager and Black? I don't even know what those things are. If I ever can't decide what to drink, make the traditional English drink Snakebite. You may love it or not. Wait, Snakebite? What is that? You have to tell me now. Kia, you can't just drop that and then not explain. At least I won't have to worry about DEF CON happening when I'm over. I should also be able to get us into the Beatles Cirque du Soleil show. That'd be cool, because one of my friends is in the show. Cool. That would be fun. And then Mark can get us tickets to see Blue Man, and we can do two Cirque shows back to back and like party. Where's in the robots? Get a baby Bjorn backpack for Noodle. Aww. Noodle's gonna get his own Shiban backpack. It can sense when Noodle's aroused. Gets super meta. What kind of software is in the robot? I don't even want to get into that. Man, how am I gonna answer that question? Shit. All of the software is in the robot, I'll say that. Noodle runs on normal ass C programming right now. It's so much shit now, depending on the system. I'm gonna say like his motor control is just C for now. It's like plain ass programmed in Arduino C. That's gonna change. I don't know what Mark used for the computer vision stuff last year. Oh yeah, he used Python, and he hated it, and he bitched about it, that's right. Oh god. But yeah, what's in a snake bite? It's half lager, half hard cider, half black currant cordial. Diesel is a lager, black currant cordial. How does it taste? Like, what does it actually taste like? Snake bite. I gotta look that up. I'll run it past Mark. So it's a lager. So that's just like a normal beer. Hard cider, I think we might have black currant cordial. But if the black currant cordial is optional, so it's just lager and hard cider, that doesn't sound terribly complicated. I think Noodle would be aroused by, like, textures. Since he's, like, a texture-centric sensing robot that likes flavors and surfaces, like surface qualities, he would probably be aroused by certain, textures. That would be my guess. I don't know. I'm gonna hopefully allow Noodle to decide for himself what arouses him. That's the plan. And I need to drink this beer faster. It's kind of calming me down. Or talking to you guys is calming me down. I was kind of a wreck this morning. Not like in a bad way, it was like the kind of stress that like makes you feel good because you have this like strong sense of purpose that's propelling you forward. But it was still stress because I was worried that none of this was gonna get done on time. I think the most important part right now is getting Noodle transferred out of his old body. Some of the feet modules I know I can just pack with me in my luggage if they don't make it in the main shipping container. Like the feet that are going on display are done. The things that I'm making right now are kind of above and beyond what's necessarily expected of me for the exhibit. But I kind of want them to be there because I think that the last time I exhibited the modules, that was what was missing. I think that the hands-on aspect, or the hands-on component, will help people kind of understand what the point of the feet are in general. Because if you know nothing about Noodle, it's really difficult to look at Noodle and the appendages and figure out what the hell the deal is if you know nothing. So I guess the point of everything I'm doing is to make my exhibit a lot more, I don't want to say easier to figure out, but I want people to be able to look at it and discern what the hell everything is on their own a little bit quicker. So I'm hoping to visually communicate what everything is about. I want to make it a bit more, what's the word? Easy to figure out, digestible, I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. Oh god. That's not where that goes. Sarah, what are you doing? No. The other thing I need to do is come up with my proposal for my Hackaday talk. Which I should have done weeks ago when I actually had, like, no concept of, like, impending deadlines. But I did not. So, alas, here we are. I'm gonna have at least a couple of late nights coming up this weekend. I'm thinking tomorrow is kind of an open day. Other than going to DEF CON. Oh, God. Oh. Drink your beer faster, Sarah. Coherent? Coherent is probably a good word. I don't know. Coherent or digestible? Visually digestible? I don't know. I want people to be able to look at Noodle, look at the feet and the images that I'm providing to go along with them, and go, ah, yes, these are appendages, these are this robot's appendages, and they allow him to do things, or they enable him to do things. And then they'll be interested in trying to figure out how they work. So that's the sort of breakdown that I'm trying to create, like the flow of it. 2 years ago when I exhibited these things for the first time, I think it didn't really flow quite like that. Like, I think the images were missing. It was just the feet and Noodle and then a video. I think the illustrations will help quite a bit, because you'll probably look at those first, or kind of at the beginning of the whole process. How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Feet. Yeah, it's a good talk title. Tony came up with a really good one the other day, and I wrote it down. I don't remember it, but I know I wrote it down on a post-it somewhere. I think it was like... oh, fuck it. I don't know. I'm not gonna try and cite it. I'll do it wrong. But it was equally absurd, but completely valid. Buckfast helps dull the pain of a deep-fried Mars bar. What? What does that mean? That's a good talk title. Buckfast. What is Buckfast? Is that like Jägermeister? Financial situations cause... oh, it sucks. Yeah, I hate money. That's the reason why I didn't do a lot of stuff this year either. Old nostalgia. I kind of, when I turned 30, I swore off hard liquor as like a casual beverage to drink on nights like these, or just in general. I kind of stick to beer these days. My mom and I were doing Margarita Mondays every Monday, and our bartender was feeding us way too much tequila. So there was at least one day every week that I was completely strung out on tequila, because he would give us free rounds of shots. Rounds with like an S of shots. And my mom and I would get fucking wrecked, like every Monday. And then we'd go and we'd stagger around the mall, and we'd drunk shop, and we'd buy like weird, crazy, random shit. And I think we did this like the whole year I was 29, and then a little bit at the beginning of like my 30th year. And then I was like, this needs to stop. And I've completely cut out like Buckfast, Jägermeister, all those exotic, cordial, weird, alcohol-y type things. Medicinal wine? We don't have any crazy stuff like... I mean, we do have crazy stuff like that here, but I don't drink it. It's considered the prototypical Glasgow drink. Oh, okay. Gotcha. The deep-fried Mars bar is pretty self-explanatory. We have deep-fried Oreos here in Vegas. That's kind of a thing, and they are real good. But, as I was saying, I'm waiting for the spacers for the third one of these to print. It's probably going to take another minute or two, so I'm going to put these fucking things nowhere because there's no space. I'm gonna put them here. Okay. And I'm going to start assembling that turn cranky thing that I mentioned a little bit earlier. I need to do some sewing too, but that's next. Alright, so I did already assemble kind of like the frame for this throat thing. So this is a Noodle's foot throat frame right here. You can see there's these nice tracks that go horizontal, and the rollers of the conveyor belts can actually kind of glide back and forth on these tracks. Not very well, but they do. And I should have 8 rollers total if the table hasn't eaten them. Okay, and I do have the... Okay, so there's gears, rollers, gear. This that I'm not using, but I do need that gear. Roller, 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 roller. Oh god. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, cool. 8. Got all 8. And there are little track slidery things somewhere. Ah, here they are. Okay. Here's the bearing turn crank part. The slider bits for the rollers. Okay, and I think this is the gear I'll be using. These two I'm not using this turn crank. I'm using this one and the sleeve. I'm not totally okay with the quality of this print. But I can change it out later. It's not too critical that I can't get to change it out in the near future. Okay, so these rollers right here... Oh, Mark's home. Yay. So the rollers go on these tracks right here, and they slide back and forth. And I've actually got conveyor belts here somewhere on the table that will actually wrap around these rollers, but I'll find them later. They're buried. There is a gearbox, which is actually this piece right here. There are 4 holes right there. Gears mount to those holes, and then there's like a mother gear that goes through this bearing shaft. It's this guy right here, and that's the thing that rotates the 4 smaller gears and allows the conveyor belts to rotate against each other. I think I talk about this module in the next video I'm publishing next week. I do the recap of the spiky roller throat. But I don't know, I kind of wanted to get this one out of the way. But I'm not doing that part first. I'm doing... Ooh, I just had a really grim realization. I don't think those take 50s. They did not have size 50 hardware at the hardware store, but I don't think that's a 50 millimeter gap. I think that's smaller. So I'm probably okay. But I am gonna grab my 30 millimeter hardware, so. And my 35s just in case. Woo! Alright, got the 30s and the 35s. Alright, so it looks like not 30s, it's gonna be the 35s. Alright, so the way that this works is it is a washer And then it goes through and it skewers one of these little racky-doos. Actually, there's something okay, those two fit. Okay. I'm not gonna fuck with them. Okay, I think we're alright. Okay, so its hardware goes through the fence thing. It goes through the rail register, which the little nipple, I don't know if you can see that. The little nipple of this thing pops through the rail. It's kind of like a guide. So to show you what I mean. So these little end pieces have kind of like a nipple thing that sticks out. There, you can see it. And the nipple goes through the rail, like so, like that. That helps keep the roller registered. And the hardware then skewers the roller, which is the big red piece. So I'm gonna thread that on next. And then it's the same thing mirrored on the opposite side. So I take one of these little rail roller registration pieces, rip off the excess printer fuzz. I'm going to snap that into the rail as such, put the nipple in the rail, and then thread the hardware through the hole on the opposite side. Bam. And then there should be enough of the hardware left on the other side that I can attach a nut or some shit. Which it looks like there is. So, haha, success. And these should just catch, and then they glide back and forth like that. So, that is the, that's how you make a spiky, I was gonna say spicy roller throat. That's how you make a spiky roller throat. So I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite of this, but mirrored vertically. So I guess it's probably easier if I just take these nipple end pieces and just pop them in the track ahead of time, and then just kind of line up the roller in between them. So I'm going to pop the nipple in the track, as so, and do the same thing on the opposite side. Like that. So I've got both nipples, and then I'm going to hold my roller in between the two and thread my hardware. See, easy peasy. Anybody can make a noodle throat. So if you're getting ideas, you can make a noodle throat just by making a bunch of tubes. What? Why are you guys talking about Pootie Pie? Why? I don't even know. I don't know. I'm not subbed to him. I heard him talk once and I wanted to, like, throw my computer across the room. It's a new version of the throat foot. James, it's the old version? Yeah, don't pop your actual nipples under the tracks. Just the plastic nipples. It's not a new version of the throat foot, it's just a one that's manually operated. It has like a turn crank. All the feet are going on like an exhibition tour, so I want people to be able to pick them up and like figure out how they work. with their hands, so none of them are going to be plugged in. They're not motorized. The motorized versions will be there, but they're just going to be to view. These ones people can actually pick up and handle and like operate, I guess. So, alright, I'm sliding. Oh god. Alright, I'm sliding through the hole, roller, other hole. Wow, that went nicely. It didn't fight me. Love it when it doesn't fight me. And the washers go the opposite way. And this is when I learned that you can intentionally put the washers on the incorrect way to improve their function. And that might sound crazy, but we all know that there is a right way and a wrong side to apply a washer to something. Uh-oh, this one's having some sliding issues. I don't know if I like... The 35s don't really catch, so I might change those out. I think I'm actually going to try the 40s. Okay. Just so there's a little bit more meat for the nut to hang on to. Because right at the point that it catches, it's actually tightened down too much, and the roller won't glide on the track anymore. So I'll probably switch those out, but I'll do that in a minute. Moving on. I'm actually going to do this one down here, because it's a little bit harder to get to. Please Touch Museum. I apparently loved it when I was... Oh, cool. GUI control my trash rover. It was super simple though, so it didn't take long. I like that you called it a trash rover. Does it pick up trash or is it trash? What do you mean by that? But I like that you called it a trash rover. The Living Computer Museum in Seattle lets you touch and play with the old computers they have, including punch card computers. That's cool. I blame visitors to the Science Museum is a... That's literally everything now. Yeah. My first real date with my girlfriend. I took her to a museum. That's cool. Yeah. Not very many museums here in Vegas, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm preparing hands-on versions of the feet for the first time. So this is kind of a new thing. Did I not print enough of these either? I don't think I did. I think I'm like hating myself right now because I printed literally half as much as I needed for the spacers and these glider bits. Fuck. Okay, so... I mean, I guess that's good because this means that those other parts are probably done printing at this point in time, and I can switch to back to assembling the legs. For a little while. Oh god. While I'm printing more of these glider bits. Or I can sew. Or I can work on a different part of this. I can work on the turn crank part. Let's do that. I should probably get the printer going making these things though. It's probably gonna be better. Some more meat. nut meat. Okay. Oh no, that might be too much nut meat. I'm not sure about that one. Let's tighten it down and see. The 40s might have provided too much extra screw, but whatever. Let's see. If I tighten it down, how much is actually poking out the front? Still not tightened down as much as it could be. Still not tight enough. See, I need like 38s. 38 would be like perfect. Because 40 seems to be... You can see there's quite a bit of screw poking out the end there. But on the other ones, there's like nothing. And if I tighten it down anymore, then it actually clamps the roller, and that's bad. Bad Raptor. You design bad things. Whatever. I think it's better to have too much than not enough. Right, guys? Okay, so I don't know. What should I... No, I should do the turn crank. Stay on task a little bit today, Sarah. Or not on task, but with one thing at a time. That's the wrong side. Bad Raptor. Ah! You can do it! Go in the hole. Go! Ah! Fuck. I hear Mark doing stuff in the kitchen. I'm the worst girlfriend in the entire world. I never help him cook. He just kind of does all of that, because he's really good at it. But I always feel bad because I don't really cook, ever. Like, he cooks every day. And he's really good at it. He's like a Hobbit master. But on Fridays, like, he's always the one who cooks dinner for, like, me and my two, like, cooking inept friends. Not that we're, like, necessarily bad at it, we just kind of don't do it as regularly. So he's, like, in there doing stuff, and I hear him, and I feel like I should be helping, but Alas, here I am assembling throats for the offspring. This is so people can examine his throat and understand how his throat works through a series of touching and exploring. There we go. Yeah. Okay, so we've got 4 of these throat belts installed. Yeah? This one slides really nicely. I wish they all slid that nicely. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna go check on the print. I don't know if it's been 40 minutes or not, but I have absolutely no idea how much time has elapsed since I started it. I'm gonna go check on it real quick. If it's done, then I'm going to get the next print started. Yeah. So I'll be right back. Oh no. Did I remember to fuel my meat? Yes. With this. And no, I have not eaten yet today. I'm running on, like, this. I did not eat. I'm bad. I'm being really super bad. I am starving right now. Because Raptor. Yes. Wait. Referring to a boss. Wait, what? I have this weird urge to get one of those kits that replicates an old PC. Wait, what? Those exist? Yes. The good old days when you could touch the bits. Wait, what? Now I have to scroll up and see what you guys are talking about. There is a fair bit of, I can't tell you what this is, but it's vital for the war effort, knitting core memory. Wait. It's on that meat and nipple rails tonight? Yes. I mean, I don't know what else you would call those. Knobs? It's not nearly as fun of a word as nipple, in my humble opinion. Alright. Solid fuel is good too. You called yourself Bad Raptor because, yes, I'm a bad raptor. Did I eat today? I'm gonna go with no. I don't think I ate today. I've had coffee, and then I was at the hardware store, and now I'm here. And I'm gonna go check the printer. And if Mark has any food in, like, a stage of preparation, I might steal some of that. Like a raccoon. Alright. I'm gonna leave that there. You can ponder Noodle's throat, his majestic throat, warp core shape. Alright. I'm like to this point in this whole process where I'm starting to name my print like files as like fucker and fucksticks and shit bag and stuff, or damn it, I don't know. It's just like a bunch of obscenities on the so if you like put the SD card in the printer and you scroll through all the files, it's just like a nightmare. So I'm trying to remember like which obscenity is the one I need to print for more of these rail pieces, and I'm hoping that I picked the correct one. Although I might not have. Okay, so I have more spacers now. I have enough spacers. Okay. Oh man. Breakfast bars. I do need a hamster bottle full of breakfast bars. I need a robot that makes me eggs. Like one of the jokes is that one of my jokes with Mark is that if I finish that Noodle Mars game that I started working on like over the winter, one of the things that he's going to build on Mars is an omelet station. Right, Mark? So he's going to make deployable omelet stations on Mars, because that's what Noodle would do. And I kind of need a robot to do that in real life, because I really like eggs, but I've gotten too busy to even make those in the morning, which is really bad. But I like making eggs with lemon juice and hot sauce, and then licking the plate. That's regular raptor behavior. Is like a possible logical item for this project. Yes, fuck sticks. Yeah, I think I just printed fuck sticks ABS. Literally. And I'm hoping it's the correct fuck sticks, because there's a chance, in truth, that it is not. Alright, let's do that turn crank, everybody. So there's this piece up here, and it's going to seat slightly above the throat tube, as so. There we go. So there's this big old bearing up there at the top, and that's kind of the critical part right here. I have a few different versions of the shaft that I'm gonna stuff in there in a second. Where's that light? Where is it? I can't find anything anymore. It doesn't matter. Forget it. I think I'm gonna end up using this one. Now, these are all different only in that the shape, and I don't even think you can see this, but there are different shapes at the end of these shafts. If I put them down here, can you? Kind of. This one is there's a square shape at the end of this shaft, and on this one there's kind of a hexagonal shape at the end of the shaft. This one didn't work as well because the hexagon is kind of soft. It doesn't have hard edges because it's kind of small. This square worked a bit better, so I'm going to use it. And that is going to pop through the bearing as such, just like that. And there is a sleeve that goes over this, which is this part right here. So, fit, yeah. The sleeve goes over the shaft, and then there is the turn crank piece, which has the square socket that fits onto the end of the shaft. Should. There we go. Like that. And so that's I don't really like the quality of how that printed, so I'll probably reprint this piece next. But for now, it's okay. So as you can see, that's nice and smooth. The gear on the end is just sort of gliding, which is happy. And the part that goes through this... I forgot it. Where is it? Where are you? It is gone. Where did it go? I think that was a gray bit too. Okay, so I believe a piece of hardware went through here. It might have been a 30. Did I put the 30s back? I did. Not a 30. Okay. Maybe it was a 35. So there's a 35 piece of hardware actually fits through the middle of this and is countersunk inside of the gear right there. And might have been a 35 then, or a 40. Okay, 40. That's a little better. Okay, so size 40. Well, it might even be too small too. Let's try 45. Nope. Is that the wrong? Hardware might have been in the wrong place. That was. There are some 35s in my 40s. That's not good. 40. Okay. 40, there's quite a bit of meat. Might be perfect. We shall see. It's gonna be long. Alright, let's try the 35 again. It's like trying on shoes. Might be the better option. Nothing's fitting perfect today. Alright, 40 or 35 it is, or whatever. 40. 40 it is. It will live. I might make the spacer a little bit longer. And then there is the handle. Which I will probably make a little longer too. Okay, that should work. I'm unhappy with my length choices for all these parts. They're not working out optimally, but whatever. No one will notice. I'll just be disappointed in myself secretly inside, as usual. That might be too short. Secret disappointment is the best kind of disappointment, right, Mark?
Yes, it's the best kind. Secretly disappointed right now.
Who are you disappointed in?
I can't believe it's a secret.
Bunch.
Yes,
Is it me?
Somebody didn't empty the dishwasher. There's that.
Oh, sorry. Okay. So that's so that you can hold on to it and do this. Yeah? It's like a proper turn crank. Yeah! Look at that. Okay, I can tighten this piece too. Woo! Aw, thank you! Nikuman says he's proud of me. Somebody's proud of me, Mark. God.
Well, that's a step in the right direction, honey.
Somebody's proud of me?
Yes.
Someone somewhere is proud of me.
You have more than one. You might actually even, like, physically need one.
Yeah. Thanks, honey.
You're welcome. I'm here for encouragement.
Uh-huh. Okay, I'm satisfied with that. I don't like how much the hardware is sticking out on either end. I might make the shaft of this a little longer and print another one. Same thing goes for the handle right there. Just to kind of like make it so that the nut fits perfectly on the hardware. But I can fuss over details once all of these are done, I'll say. Right now I just kind of want them to be in a working condition so that they exist. So this thing mounts on top of this warp core-like piece, as so. And the thing that holds everything properly spaced from each other are these white bits, just like Noodle's old tasting feet. Except the holes are not in the right place for some reason. Oh, that's right. Okay. This part needs to get flipped. That's not the correct size. That's right, I discovered that I assembled this wrong when I was assessing the CAD model this morning. This top ring needs to be flipped upside down because I installed it incorrectly. Forgot about that. I had that realization while I was having my coffee and going over this thing. I hear the tarp going crazy outside. It is pretty windy today. There is a chance that if it is cold, we might not be getting in the water again, which sucks, because we didn't do Friday last week in the pool, but we did go over to Mark's parents' place and crash their pool, which was fun. So we did get some swimming in last weekend. It just wasn't in the traditional context. Gotta get your swam on, right? Thwam. Go. Boop. Oh, God. The stress level. Punching me in the face. So, if you guys saw the video I put out yesterday, what did you guys think of the Taste Odyssey? What did you think of Shape Daddy's buttery HAL 9000 voice? Or as I call him in the credits, Ox 9000. But it's AUX? Yeah. Ha ha. Ha ha.
I get it now.
I get it. I think he did great. And I think
I was puzzled by that name, but then I looked at my input panel and realized what the pun was.
Mark. Go, Mark. Okay. You should fit now. And they do. Okay, good. Sarah did something right. Yeah. Okay. So, normal nuts, these guys are countersunk in the back of these gray rings. Except they're really difficult to get to now because I didn't put them in ahead of time. I put them in there for a reason and then I forget about them and I end up suffering anyway. Bad raptor. That's okay. That's why we grow calluses, correct? Huh? Eights. There you go. Flathead eights. That's what we need. When do we need them? Now. Running low on those too. Damn. I got regular eights, which we'll do in a pinch, although they won't look quite as nice. Come on. Get in there. Like a surgeon. There we go. Okay. Ah! One of those is in. Bam. They're so nice and white. Hope I don't fuck them up. Be awful if something happened to your nice and white. Smooth, buttery frame bar. I was gonna make these in aluminum, but I don't know if I'm gonna have time. I might have time. If I just like get the ones for Noodle prepped and ready ahead of time along with these and just come over with like a bunch of stock on a weekend, me and Noodle's Shape Daddy can have like a frame piece making day date and just like bang all of these out. It's not like they're really difficult to make or anything, it's the doing. You have to actually do it the correct way. That's the correct way. Okay. Alright. Flathead eights. When do we want them? Now! We should use old star bits because, you know, star bits are cool. Taste Odyssey. I liked it. I had fun making that one. That's the one I was talking about yesterday with the projector and the half a Mini Cooper. So you guys got to see what the hell I was even talking about. That's the car in the backyard that's just sort of chilling out. It's a proper pool. Yeah, Mark's folks have a proper pool. So we went there last Sunday and actually swam, which was fun. 'Cause yeah. Normally we just kind of sit in the kiddie pool and like drink and talk and watch movies. It was nice to actually move my body in the water and work muscles that normally don't get working, which is like most of them. Come on, bitch. Get in there. I'm sorry you guys have to like watch me distort myself in these ways, trying to get nuts in place. God damn it. And I already mixed my drink, so I can't even like do that again a second time. Can get a second drink though. Fuck. Sarah! There. Oh man. Come on. do it. Thread. Thread. How come, like, getting nuts to thread is, like, fucking impossible sometimes? I'm like, come on. You two were made for each other. Just mesh. Do it. Come on. I know you can. I know you want to. Just do it. Come on. Wow. Okay. I did it. Jesus. Jesus. There. Okay. Gotta remember to put those in ahead of time in the turn cranky ring, because that's next. Yikes. Always trying to do myself a favor with these countersunk holes. They kind of don't really hold the nut all that great, to be perfectly honest, so even when I put them there, even if I push the nut in ahead of time, it always gets pushed out. It's like you hear that fateful clunk and you know that it's a nut that got pushed out and is now lost somewhere forever inside of your assembly. Yeah, that one was a bit easier. Yeah. Picking up a 3mm hex nut driver, just like a screwdriver, but for nuts. They make this kind of assembly so much easier than pliers or wrenches. I know what you're talking about. When I'm over at Shape Daddy's place, he has one and I use it sometimes because I always ask him for pliers and then he gets like that out instead and he's like, here, this is what you're supposed to use, and I'm like, yes. But I want the pliers. I think I actually have one somewhere, or Mark does. Yeah? Do you have a 3mm hex nut driver?
3mm?
Yes.
Yeah, a toolkit somewhere.
Honey?
Right in the back room.
Can you get me the 3mm tap? Why do you keep those in the garage?
Oh, tap.
Yes.
Why do you keep tools in the garage, Mark? When all the tools should be in the house.
Yeah.
Put them in the nightstand, Mark.
Have you seen this house?
Really can use them.
Have you? Every room in this house is used to assemble a thing.
I do my messy shit in the garage.
Like tapping?
Like tapping. I do all my tapping.
You do? Fuck.
If you see the tapping setup I have in there.
I do all my tapping in the garage. Says Mark.
Alright. You need a tap kit?
I need a 3mm. Yes, I need a 3mm tap.
Let me make sure it isn't here for some stupid ass reason. It's like a trip in 109 degrees heat.
Haha. It's for driving your nuts. You should get a tiny wrench. That's what he gets out for me. He gets a tiny wrench, or one of those little like cap things that you stick on top of the nut to hold the nut in place. Gotta hold your nuts in place.
I like a tight wrench holding my nuts.
Yeah, Mark?
Yes.
Because you're a weirdo.
What?
That's why I love you.
How is that weird?
If you want a tight wrench holding your nuts,
Everybody wants something tight.
they're nuts.
Because you don't want to strip your nuts or round them off.
I don't want to round anything off. I want it nice and jaggy.
Right. Let me go to the garage.
Yeah?
During it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Woo! Okay. No. Fuck. I wish my parents knew that this is how I spend my weekends. I always see them on Sunday for like Cards Against Humanity night, and they're like, what have you been up to? And I'm like, don't ask. You don't want to know. You wouldn't understand.
I have a feeling it might be in the master bedroom, sir.
Was it?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you want to help me tap some holes?
Tap your hole.
There's 4 holes total that need to be tapped, and they're technically Noodle's holes.
Alright.
Noodle McTappington.
Noodle J McTappington.
Noodle Tappington. Noodle. He says the Noodle Tea feet is for Tappington. Sometimes. Sometimes it's for tasting. But today it's for tapping. Noodle Tea feet. Fuck. Oh god. My mom will call me at like 4 and be like, what are you up to? And I'm like, shapes? I'm doing shapes, Mom. I don't think in a million years my parents ever anticipated that this is how I'd spend my free time. Or my time in general. I think that goes for everybody though, right? Fuck! Wait, I didn't even have the white thing on. Did you guys see that? That was a critical step. I would have felt really dumb if I had just did that now. That was the whole point of trying to get this nut in place. Okay, nut. Frame bar.
Where's your tappy doodle?
Oh. This reminds me of Ars Electronica 2 years ago. Remember? Remember assembling all this stuff that one night before the festival started when we were there till like 1 in the morning drinking beer and eating sausage in our little private room? Remember the year I had a little private room?
Yep.
I didn't even have a little private room last year. Noodle did. I did not. Remember?
Member berries. Alright. What's the thing you're tapping?
Hang on real quick. Sorry. Let me get this last nut.
Right. Tap your plastic.
It's not plastic.
Nothing metal.
Okay. Remember these femur bones from yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah? I was like attaching this end piece to the square piece via this gear piece thing.
Okay.
Okay, so there's this series of holes down here at the bottom. 3. It's not that one.
No.
It's this one.
Just the one on the side.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
See the
all the
one?
way through?
The one? Yes.
Or on this side? Oh, it's just one. Okay.
It's just one.
All right. One hole tap.
Just one.
One noodle tap.
One Noodle Tea Tappington. Eating sausage and gripping nuts. That's totally what I did 2 years ago. I was sewing silicone, which was awful. I highly suggest never doing that, ever. I was hand sewing silicone with a sewing needle, and Mark was trying to get Noodle's feet on Twitter. On the Ars Wi-Fi's. Remember that?
I got the word.
I did. Okay. So this thing goes on top of this thing like a crown. Kind of like this. There we go. Okay. Yep. Okay. One more. These holes are easier to get to. I can actually hold the nuts in place with my finger while screwing into them. Man, I should have got some more flat heads. Why do I always forget something? There's always like one thing that I've completely overlooked. Because yeah, I use the flathead screws so that they don't poke out from the frame. They sit nice and flush. It has like a little bit better aesthetic. Don't! Mark, we're gonna have to go back to Nick that in.
Until 1 or 2 tomorrow.
Really?
Yeah, they're only half day Saturday.
No shit, I thought they were closed on weekends.
No, they're open for a few hours on Saturday.
Oh crap, okay.
Yeah, so figure it out.
I mean, it can probably wait till Tuesday, maybe. Oh god. Let me see how much shit I can print today. Let me see how much shit I can print. Why aren't you going through the hole? Why aren't you go? There we go. Okay. Gotta line up in the hole. Gotta line up in the hole. You don't line up in the hole. What good are you? Thank you. Mark just tapped my hole.
Where's the camera? Oh, there it is.
Expertly. There we go.
Right.
Yeah.
Alright.
Noodle, you gave Noodle a dew claw. Here.
Oh, there's more.
I told you there's 4 total.
Yeah.
That one.
I don't really listen to things. Alright.
I know, you don't hear anything I say.
Yeah, I'm with my own.
I have no idea if the printer's actually printing the right thing. I was supposed to go check that. It's printing like fuck sticks ABS. Or I think it's fuck sticks. Could be shitbag, I don't remember. I want to say like back in June I was still naming things like what they actually were, but I'm to that point where it's like I'll do things by versions until I get to like version 3 or 4, and then things just become like obscenities. I'm sure y'all can relate. There we go. Should be good enough. Oh, goodness. Matt will be off from work soon. He'll be off from work in an hour. I'll be like, what the fuck are you doing? And I'll be like, ah! It'll be the best. He'll be like, make me a drink and get naked. And I'll be like, okay. As it should be on Fridays. Make me a drink and get naked day.
Yeah, sounds like a song.
Make me a drink and get naked.
Make me a drink and get naked.
Sounds like a Jimmy Buffett song.
Yeah, so just think about it.
This one's, the nut has like one of those really weird, deep, sunken bits that's at like an angle, and it's right underneath like moving parts, right there. It goes in like at a weird angle through the meat of the material. I don't know if you can even see that. That was annoying. Oh well, it's done. Yay! Okay, so the bulk of this thing is done. I think these big fat chunky rollers go right here on the sides.
Next.
Thank you.
Just give me all the pieces.
Okay. It's the solo hole.
Alright.
Thank you, sweetie. I remember when I tapped my first hole.
Yeah.
It was in Chicago. I used green lube. It was that green, you know, the metal lubricant. It was in a jar. And you dip the tap in that, and then you, like, twist it in slowly and back it out. I remember. That's where I did everything for the first time. I learned what a lathe was the day I used one for the first time.
Lathe for the first time.
I was like, what's a lathe? And they're like, you're going to be using one in about 10 minutes. And I was like, what? It spins. I'm like, oh. They're like, it's a spinning murder machine.
Murders people with
Yes.
long hair.
I had shorter hair than I do now back then, so I was safe. Nevada. Live from Las Vegas, Nevada. Nevada. Actually, I maintain a good naming discipline right to the end because I know exactly how much trouble and sadness bad file names can cause. That's because you are responsible and a good sir. I am a bad pizza, and I do not do that because there becomes a point in time during every, I don't even want to say like project. It's like a certain time of the year, and it's right about at the end of summer when I get really stupid busy and I like hit crazy woman mode, and I'm there, and the file names reflect that, and Mark probably can tell. He's like,
oh yeah, because anything on the stick that's named like that just gets deleted.
yes.
Like I don't have to ask, is he still going to use this? Nope.
No, that stuff can go.
That was frustration prints.
Yes.
They get deleted immediately.
Yes.
A little.
Spinny murder machine. Spinny murder machine. Yeah, I remember that day. Like, our professor was like, you guys all know how to use the... Oh, Sarah doesn't. Everybody into the machine shop. And I was like... And then everybody had to get recertified again. And I got certified on the lathe. And I was like, what's a lathe? And they're like, it makes circles. And I was like, it's a circle machine? And they're like, yeah. It makes circles. That's how art students described to me what a lathe was. Somebody was like, it makes circles. And I was like, okay. Noodle. Noodle's just sitting behind me, staring at Mark. He's just like, Noodle, your shipping box is regally on the ground, waiting for you to be put inside of it. Alright, I'm gonna go check on those parts, the fuck sticks. I'll be right back. Thank you, sweetie.
Yeah, well done.
Wrong.
Nothing.
Yeah, that was the wrong file. It was printing the not right thing, so I had to stop it, and then I scrolled down and I actually found a file called slider, which is what I'm printing, or needed to print, so I did name it the correct thing. I hope. I don't think there's any other thing in any one of these feet that could be possibly labeled a slider, so whatever. Alright, that means I have to push this entirely aside for the moment. Probably so far as there. And I'm going to go back to this last foot piece right here, since I've got those other spacers that I needed to print. And I'm gonna put that together. And that print that I just started is going to take a half an hour. I don't know, I'm gonna just guess and say that by that point in time, I will be just about done putting these together and I can go snatch them and finish the other thing. Noodle says thank you. Ah. 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 Okay. Big ol' slidey boy.aps. Yes. Big old slidey boy. Very kinky. Oh man. Okay. I think this goes that way. Yes. Yes, it does. Okay. Big old slidey boy.abs. So yeah, if I just scrolled down one more past fuck sticks, I would have found slider. Fuck slider? No, just slider. I must not have been frustrated that day. My goal is to, one of these years at Ars Electronica, actually bring Noodle walking to Lynn's so he can actually follow behind me, or at least kind of like scoot around like a Bijou in the wild with his mammy. But that's not going to be this year, unfortunately. I had the best intentions in January. I was just like, I'm going to hit this walking endeavor hard, and then I don't know what the hell happened. I applied for a bunch of stuff in February, which is normal for me, and then I didn't really get anything. And then while I was sort of, like, accepting that I was going to have to do my plan B, other things came up that I didn't apply for or anticipate, and now I'm doing that. That's how life works, folks. Life is what happens while you're making other plans. That's somebody's quote. I don't remember who. Maybe one of you guys do. Ah! Get in there! Why? You have to line up. And I guess you don't technically have to anything, but... common sense, there we go. It says that you should be there. There should be a hole. There we go. It's like I always get to Ars Electronica every year and I just feel like sleeping the whole time. And I'm like, no, you're here, you need to go be social, but I'm like, I really just want to sleep. And then I'm jet lagged. I think like last year, Mark and I literally just ate like Wiener Schnitzel the entire time, every single day, and drank beer, and hung out with people. As you do. Normal conference stuff, right? That was not a 16. I was lied to. I love it. Was it? What are you looking at? I hear beeping.
Nice random video.
Taster on the run. Taster on the run. Hey, Badger Pig, how you doing? Ooh, I want some delicious tiny burgers. Mark made homemade sliders for 4th of July this year, and they were fantastic. We're doing buffalo chicken tonight, which is also pretty good. Totally good. Okay. There will be light. There's a light over at the Frankenstein's place. Where the hell is that from? What the hell am I singing? Is that from something? That has to be from something. Am I losing my mind? Where the hell did that come from? Where's my brain just like conjuring creepy words from the ether to like come spewing out of my lips? White Castle. Big old slidey boy. A big old slidey boy would be a burger. You're correct. It's the opposite of a slider. Ha! Rocky Horror. Thank you, Niku Man. That's what that's from. You are correct, sir. How the hell did I forget that? How the hell did I put this nut in the wrong way? Screw. Whatever. Damn it. Oh, now I kind of want to watch Rocky Horror. If I get picked, what am I subjecting everybody to tonight? Shit.
Good sci-fi?
Negative. It's either...
Damn it.
Haha.
Now I see why Tony didn't come.
What? You were the one who was like, you have to come and not show up. You can't bogue out on somebody. And now you're being a whiny little bitch. Jesus. I'm thinking it's either going to be American Psycho and the game. Yeah. Or it's going to be Euro Trip and Moulin Rouge. So. What?
That movie's okay. It's not...
Fucking love that movie. I like it. You're gonna like it. Mark. Noodle says thank you for tapping his holes. He says he can have dew toes now. That's his little dew claw where his spraying thing goes. You know, the spraying thing. Oh my. Here we go. Okay. We're getting there, folks. I can actually finish assembling these legs now that those holes are tapped. Or finishing the leg assemblies in general. Because that was kind of the thing holding me up from attaching any of the bones to the femurs. It is windy out. Jesus. A tarp's gonna like fly off the pool. It's gonna take the 8 bricks with it. It's gonna be like, bitch, you can't contain me. Raptor on the run. Oh, or should I do the that's the other thing I was talking about. Should I do the producers and Young Frankenstein? Huh?
Sure.
What would you rather do? American Psycho and the game, Euro Trip and Moulin Rouge, or the producers and Young Frankenstein?
Young Frankenstein. I've never seen Producers.
That's like literally like one of my favorite movies in the entire world. Next to The Fifth Element and Blade Runner. Oh, and I also was thinking of doing Behind Enemy Lines and something. Have you seen that movie? That's also a really good movie.
45.
They are digital servos, and I do not know how many amps they draw. Does Mark? Mark,
What?
how many amps do these servos draw? Do you
Oh,
know?
I don't know. A couple amps?
I have no idea.
Probably 2. You gotta keep.
1,000. 1,000 amps. They're going to cause a promble with their amping. Ampering. Get in there. There we go. Get in there. So many feet. The question is, am I gonna get around to sewing? I really want to wear this thing to DEF CON tomorrow, so I should have done that part first. This is the stuff like that has a deadline though, so that was like where my reasoning came from. I'm like, okay, the modules and the feet need to get assembled first. The other thing is just sort of like it would be nice, but not absolutely imperative that it gets done now. I'm thinking after I'm done assembling these things, I will switch to the sewing of the elastic gun vest, as I've been calling it. Hit. Get in there. Catch. Ha! Good. Ha! One more. Heh heh. I did cut the elastic and I attached the mounting loop piece, like the mounting thingy that I designed yesterday and printed 2 of, and totally didn't show on camera, I don't think. No, I think I did. But I threaded the elastic through. I just need to sew it in place and then try it on and see if the thing actually works, because I have no idea if it's going to. It was just sort of like, this ought to work fine, maybe. Hey, remember that one time I wore a strap-on to DEF CON that I made that was motorized? Mark?
Wait, what?
Remember when I made a motorized strap-on and wore it to DEF
Oh,
CON?
yeah, the spinning tip.
With the spinning disco tip? True story. 1 million amps. If it's a gun vest, you should add underarm holsters for like a soldering iron. I should do that. I'm gonna confuse everybody. Confuse everyone. Here, then I'm doing this crazy thing right here. What the hell is this, Sarah? Jeez. Come on. Catch. Please catch. Ha. Good. You looking at chicken videos?
I'm looking at chicken videos.
Ah, what kind of chicken is it?
He's a green parrot,
Yeah?
and the owner is touching him with
It's like,
he's poking him in different places.
chicken.
Ah.
Chicken's like, I like that, do it more. I get to see my chicken on Sunday.
You just put him on your shoulder.
My dad will have a, oh, he's not
Is
gonna
that
be,
there?
he's not gonna be there.
Yeah, so he won't worry that he's gonna flush. So you take your chicken and
I can
him on
put
your
my
shoulder.
chicken on my shoulder and he can be like, ah. My parrot be like, mommy. I'll be like, baby, chicken. I'll be like, ha, ha, ha. And he'll be like, ha, 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 ha.
Tell your mom she doesn't get a choice.
We'll just feed her alcohol.
Exactly. But sometimes when you tell people they don't have a choice, then they just like, oh, I guess
shut
I
up.
don't have any choices then. And then they're okay with it.
Have you met my parents? I mean, I guess
You have
that's,
to assert that there are no more choices. And they're like, what? They're out? And they're like, yeah, we totally out of choices. I'm
you're
really
out of
sorry.
options.
We'll have new choices next week, but for now you have no choice.
Woo! Alright. Fibulas.
But,
They exist. I have literally every box of hardware that I own ever on this bench right now. Jeez. And more that you can't see because they're off camera. Jeez Louise. Oh. Okay. These can get attached to the things that Mark just tapped now. Yeah? Alright, I'm gonna put the finished fibulas right there. So this is 16. There. Okay. These things attach to these holes down here at the bottom, and they go on the bottommost hole right there, like so. Doop. And I think I had to go and buy the hardware size that I needed to do this today, so they're in a bag. Where did I deposit that bag, Mark? Any idea?
Wait, what?
The bag that I bought today.
Right there?
Ah. This is full of new hardware. $50 worth of hardware. There we go. M25. That's what I need. There. Aw, man, I'm out of beer. Now I'm out of beer. What do I do, Mark? Come on. Ah, yeah, the disco dildo. Oh, you want more delicious details on the disco dildo?
Picture somewhere.
I do have pictures somewhere. It's kind of a... It's a strap-on made with a piece of 90-degree angle ABS pipe or PVC pipe. And it holds, like, the tip of it comes up high enough that you can lean over and touch your tongue to the tip of it. And the tip was gem encrusted and motorized, and there was a little hole, like a cavity in the very, like, I guess it would technically be the urethra of the tip, where I put a lollipop. A lollipop would mount inside of the urethra, and the motor would spin it. And the tip, as I mentioned, was encrusted in gems, so I could, like, lean over and lick the lollipop sticking out of the head, I guess. And I walked around DEF CON wearing this thing, 6 years ago now? Jesus Christ, I'm old. Was that 6 years ago? Yeah, it was.
Like that.
Fuck, I was 26. So 6 years ago. And that was my first DEF CON. That was the first DEF CON I ever went to. And I was on Jeff's team Distraction for Crash and Compile, and that was my performance art that I brought to the shebang. And it went over super well. Everyone was like, what the fuck is this? And then the year after that, I brought my Barbie bandolier, and the year after that, I brought the hot dogs on top of the Delta robots with the jars of mystery jello. And then... I forget what I did the year after that. I had something every year. I usually come to DEF CON and do something disruptive. That has nothing to do with hacking. Why am I doing this? I literally just degloved tape off of a box instead of just cutting it. Because I couldn't find an X-Acto in the time it took me to do that. There's like literally no X-Acto knife within arm's reach of all of the mountains of stuff that I have lying around here. This is juicy hardware. Look at that bag, it's just covered in like machining oil. It's disgusting. Oh my god. I say disgusting. It's just really juicy. That is the juiciest bag of hardware I've ever received. I'm wet now. My hands are wet. Ew. Ew. Tony would be unhappy with my disgust. Shit, this hardware's like wet. What the fuck?
Wet. You mean greasy?
Yeah, it's like juicy.
Yeah, they put oil. You should add it. You should absorb some of the oil. It's not good everywhere.
Ugh.
It's gonna get way up inside you or whatever.
Noodle, do you want juicy joints?
Juicy toes.
He gets juicy joints. Juicy feet. Juicy feet. Okay. Okay, sweetie. Let's do this. Mommy's gotcha! Oh god. Ew. Ew. Ah. Oh my god, I'm gonna need a bath after this. It's well lubricated for my pleasure. I wish. Alright. Tatting this bitch. Noodle's excited. He says that this is the moment that he's been waiting for. He says he gets to have strong knees. Perfect. Perfect. Alright, so that's what that piece achieves. So it fits perfect distance, closes the gap. Nice and smooth. Alright, now for the top part. I might add, do I even have like the shin piece printed? I don't think I do. Speaking of shit that I keep forgetting to print. That's supposed to be in metal too. It's something that me and Tony were supposed to make, and we did not yet. Sorry, I keep smacking the microphone. Noodle, noodle, sausage in the night. Why are these nuts wet? How long have I been streaming for? Maybe everybody can get in the kiddie pool and I can sew my elastic gun vest. Yeah? Go through the hole. Go through the hole. Please. Okay. We're getting there. I need longer hardware for... Fuck. Okay. It's okay. Shh. Okay. It's going to be okay. Alright, so I don't need 24s for this. What do I need? 30s. They're not here. Literally gonna have every size of hardware ever. And the plastic side is that only half of these joints will be super leaky greasy. Super leaky McGreasy feet. What did you study and how did you start with technology? Dante, To answer your question, I studied traditional artistic practices. So I studied illustration, drawing, painting, printmaking, anything that involved like visual design, graphic design, illustration, concept art, stuff like that. And then when I went to contemporary art school at the School of the Art Institute of Chicago, I switched over to doing mechanical fabrication over there in the context of art tech. So I took classes in robotics, electronics, and mechanical design there very briefly, just enough to kind of learn how. And then I went off on my own and started doing all of this stuff by myself. Because I used to draw a lot of electronic, robotic kind of like stuff. Like a lot of my characters were robots, and somebody over there was like, hey, you should just make them instead of only drawing them. And then I was like, that's a great idea. I think I just needed permission to go and do that, because once somebody suggested it, that is all it took, and that's what I've been doing ever since. Because it's a lot more satisfying to actually build something that you imagined than to just kind of sketch it forever. And that's it. Alright. There we go. Okay, so that's a decent portion of Noodle's leg bone is. As far as art schools go, I went to LCAD in Laguna, which is Laguna College of Art and Design, which is on the West Coast in California. Nice and balmy, happy place to go to school. It's an art colony. There's like beach life culture and everything if you're into that, but the housing is stupid expensive. I didn't last there for very long. And then the School of the Art Institute of Chicago is really great. I highly recommend it, although it will put you in the poorhouse for the rest of your life. So, I don't know. Depends on what your values are. If you like things like eating and like owning a house, I don't know. Don't go to SAIC. I shouldn't say that. There's probably plenty of people who have lots of money now as adults that went there. I'm just not one of them, so don't do what I did. Don't do what I do. If you like things like eating and owning a house. Oh, here they are. And go to art school, that is. I don't know, people are always like, you should talk to these students and give them encouragement about like going into college and stuff, and talk to them about what to do and give them a pep talk. And I'm like, I'm the exact worst person, in my own humble opinion, to talk to in regard to being a functioning adult in society. It's like letting me babysit your kids. I just wouldn't advise it in a million years. Not that I would necessarily be bad at it, in my own humble opinion, but my opinion doesn't necessarily always line up with the opinions of others. I'm sure I'd make a wonderful babysitter. How the heck do people get money? I don't know. I don't know how other people do it. I feel like everybody else I know, like in my professional circle, like I don't know, it's like they've figured it out. And I talk to them, and I secretly have like this super like imposter syndrome-y like inferiority complex, because it seems like everybody else my age has like houses and Teslas and stuff, and then there's me, and I'm just like, ha! I'm like the crazy homeless like vagabond bohemian girl that does art and talks about philosophy. So I feel kind of like the person who has like the sign around their neck that's like, the end is nigh! Prepare for the end of days! I feel like that person, but like slightly like more bathed, I guess. I don't know. 30 is what I need. Here. I feel like, I don't know, I'm not even gonna say that. Fuck it. I don't know how people make money. I guess they have day jobs. That's what people do to make money. Most people do something, and then what I do is what they would call a hobby, which, I don't know, that's just never how I wanted to live my life. I mean, most people don't get an option or a choice, because that's the way that humans decided to, like, manifest their reality. The thing that they want to do in life is called a hobby, and it's something you get to maybe spend time doing as a luxury when you aren't doing other things. And then the thing you spend the most of your existence doing is your career, your job. And that becomes your identity. That's what you're about. That's the necessity. That's how we do it, is humans. We haven't gotten to the point where we can do anything else. Okay, that's 2. 1 more. And then I can switch back over to the turn crank thingy. That one has to be switched. Okay. Yes. I am the Robohemian. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. But it works. I just wouldn't recommend it as a lifestyle to anybody else. Such as it is. Mark!
What?
I love you.
What?
Nothing.
What?
Nothing.
You what?
And now I'm starting.
Love what?
Trying to say.
He
Yes.
says he loves the flavor.
You don't have to go to college. You can learn almost anything yourself. I know, right? That's kind of what
Harder.
that's what I tell people these days.
It's harder to do that.
Gotcha. Oh, cool. You're from Spain. Where in Spain are you? I haven't been to Spain yet. I've been to, like, most other cool places, destination-y places in Europe, but I've never been to, like, any of the cities in Spain for some reason. It's, like, just not happened. I want to go. If it's stupid, but it works, it's not stupid. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't even say it works. It just is. I don't know anything different. Mark,
What?
I can't be anything other than myself.
You don't ever be anything other than yourself.
I'm this.
Unless you're a psycho killer.
Am I a psycho killer?
You can be psycho, but you're not.
What?
I'm just saying, if that's what you are, don't do that.
I'm not a killer. I'm a raptor.
Noodle is a killer taster.
He's a killer taster. Taster killer.
That tasted, you know what?
What?
How's your legs coming along? They're looking good.
I think so. They're slow, like everything.
I'm gonna go work on the giant printer.
Okay, I'm going to switch back to the other thing. Actually, no, not yet. What are you connected to? What? What? Okay. Alright, this one needs to be switched out. Oh, I don't want to do that right now. Oh my god. That one's gonna stay exactly as it is for now, because I do not want to undo all of that hardware. It's a lot of hardware. I'm actually gonna go to the restroom real quick, and I'm gonna check the printer and see if the sliders, the mini sliders, are done printing, and then I will be back. And I'm not gonna make myself another drink because we are out of cerveza. Unless Mark got more. Mark!
What?
Did you get more Corona?
Get who with what?
Did you get more Corona?
Maybe.
You did?
Maybe.
Ah! Okay, maybe I will make another drink. The other ones weren't. I've been drinking them with ice, like a monster. Okay, I'll be right back. I gotta pee. And apparently make another drink, so I'll come back with one of these. Matt's gonna be shocked. He'll get over here in like a half hour, and I'll be like, I'm already on my third, so. But it's Friday. Even I celebrate Friday, kind of. I work every day. True story. I'll get right back to work tomorrow. Okay, if the sliders are done, then I'm gonna go back to that turn crank thing. If they're not done, then I'm going to go and start sewing that elastic gun vest. The elastic gun vest. Okay, be right back. There we go. Ooh, I'm back, guys. Isa and your Erebus. Malaga. I don't know if you know anything about. I don't actually. But I want to. Tell me about your city. Spain is actually kind of high up on my list of places to visit, specifically because I haven't been to any of the cities there yet. I really want to go to Istanbul as well. So I think like Istanbul, somewhere in Spain, and then I would like to go to Australia just because it's at the other end of the world. Those are the places that I would really like to visit next. I don't know how I'll get there. I kind of like pick out artist residencies based on like what areas of the world I would like to experience. I don't know. Anikumen, thank you for your vote of confidence. I don't know. I know I do awesome stuff. Like, I'm not trying to bash on myself. I just, I know that, like, as far as, like, the, as far as, like, American standards go, I, as a person, don't provide a lot of value to our way of life in America, but that doesn't mean that I don't think I personally have value. I just also simultaneously recognize that to most people, I am a certain type of thing to them. I don't know what that thing is, but I don't know. It's kind of like when you come to the US, like people like the first thing strangers tend to ask you is like where you work. And if you don't have an employer, it's like a really weird question to answer. Americans also kind of like to gauge their own success based on their like how they perceive, like how successful they perceive other people are. So I have a lot of really awkward conversations with complete strangers, but I also have a lot of really good conversations with complete strangers too. It's just, it feels like American values are such that, I don't know, it feels like I don't have a lot of value. I feel like I don't have a lot of value in my country. But that doesn't mean that I don't personally think that I have value, if that makes sense. Just had to say that. I realized while I was making this drink that it probably sounded like I was being harsh on myself. So we have a whole new case of beer, which is dangerous. Ah, yummy. Malaga is one of the biggest cities of Spain. Most of it is tourism and shit like that. It's at the south end of Spain near Gibraltar. It's part of Andalusia. Ah! Autonomous community. Andalusia. That's Picasso's favorite, or famous painting. No, that's not the famous painting. Andalusia. I'm thinking of Salvador Dali has a movie? Un Chien Andalou, the Andalusian dog. That's the city that it's named after. It's the famous surrealist movie, like short film that Salvador Dali made. And it's called An Andalusian Dog, or Un Chien Andalou. I don't know if anyone else has seen that. That just came like barreling out of all the shit that I learned while I was in art school. I've been doing that a lot today. Like, I just vomited all this knowledge about like Gothic architecture on Mark in the car while we were driving home from the hardware store. And it was just like he opened up some vortex in my mind that had all of this like raw data stored inside of it. It was like I Wikipedia'd his face. It just like came out of my mouth. And he was just like, wow. And I'm like, man, I sound like a nerd. I am a nerd. I'm a history nerd. Ugh. Having lived in both, what do you do? And I'm a kept man. Don't work, just... Yeah. Yeah. Andalusia. Did I pronounce it right? Andalusia? 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 I don't know. I pronounce everything wrong. I apologize. Andalusian dog. Need to talk with people from other parts of the world. I try. Like, I have a fairly diverse, like, network of people that I talk to. It's just I tend to converse with people that are within arm's reach to me more often. That is to say, the frequency at which I talk to people who are either from California or Las Vegas is far more frequent than the people I know who are from Europe or other parts of the world. So, unfortunately, I do fairly frequently have really discouraging conversations with strangers that just reminds me of the state of our own affairs here in the US. And social networking platforms don't really help that either, with that general feeling of, like, social disillusionment. I would like to move, but I don't really have a lot of options to do that at the moment. There we go. Un chien andalou. Yes. Okay, Nikoman, you saw that movie. Yes. Yes. Okay. I remember that now. Like, fuck. I haven't thought of it in a really long time. That's funny. It's like a vortex in my memory opened up and it just came like outside of it. I was like, oh my god, there's this movie. Why is this like coming back to me now? Represents the country, kind of famous. Interesting. I want to know. I want to go. There was a one of the residencies I was thinking of applying for would have brought me to Spain this year. But I realized that I would have kind of stretched myself too thin if I had gotten it. It didn't really line up with what I am doing entirely, so I decided not to last minute. Andalusia. We're people from other parts of the world. You guys are people from other parts of the world. It occurs to me every time I start a stream, everyone's like, "Hi from here," and it's this time of the day and cheers and blah. No, you guys, you're right. Like, we are a diverse crowd here, so you guys give me hope. It's just, I don't know, like my encounters with people in person when I go out in Las Vegas always are kind of disheartening. We got a lot of like crummy people here in Las Vegas. It doesn't necessarily attract like a majority of decent folks. Not to say that there aren't decent folks here, it's just there are a lot of shitty people that circulate through Las Vegas in general. I don't know. I guess that's the same with anywhere. I don't know. Plus I tend to talk to a lot of these people at bars, so maybe that's part of the reason. My mom and I are big fans of going to lots of different bars and then talking to whoever happens to be within arm's reach to us, so it's kind of a mixed bag. I don't know. I do like going to Europe. I'm excited to go back to Linz. I've made a lot of new friends there within the past couple of years, which are also artists that I can talk to and kind of share experiences with, and that's been good too. I feel like the people that I meet over there are a little bit more aligned with what I do, like as a professional. The people in the hacker maker community like kind of do. There's a little bit of overlap, but like not as much as when I go to the Ars Festival and meet the other like art tech people there who create stuff. I don't know, so I'm always really excited to go to the festival and see who I meet. I don't know. It's 2 a.m. Man! Is to keep a screwdriver within arm's reach. I agree. Oh, I was gonna go check the printer. I'll be right back. Like, super right back. Oh, this is bad. I need to, like, eat a food before I have another one of these. Even though they're like water, it's like Corona, so it's basically like beer water, but still. I need to help cook a food and eat it before I allow myself to continue the Friday refreshment enjoyment. But I'm gonna go get those sliders because I'm pretty sure they're done. It's definitely been a half hour. Oh yeah, it's definitely been a half hour. To prove it wrong. Most of the time you have to think 90% of the people are crap unless I... 90% of everything is crap. Fuel the meat. The secret is to keep a screwdriver with an... I agree. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Yay, I printed the right file. Look at that. Sweet. Alright, so I can finish this thing right now. And now that I think of it, this module that I'm holding right now will also require a little bit of sewing because I have to stretch the belts around the pieces that I'm installing, and then once I get them in position, I have to actually stitch them in place while they're like, wrapped around the rollers. I don't have to do it that way, but that's how I did the previous one, and it's how I remember that I did it, and it worked. So I'm going to plan on repeating that same process for this thing. Alright, so I'm snapping the nipples into the track again, as you can see. There. And then I can put the rollers in place. What size hardware did I use on this? I think I used 40s. But they're kind of long. Kind of long, but not juicy. Not digging the juicy hardware, guys. Artists. Thoughtist. Time for me to say goodnight. Oh, goodnight, Niku man. Sleep well. Dream of good things. Rest. And wake up refreshed and reinvigorated in the morning. I might still be up. Cause it's Friday night. No, I won't be up for another 8 hours, will I? 6? I might still be awake. That's nuts. The day is young. People haven't even shown up yet. People aren't even off work yet. Anything can happen. Okay. Yeah, this hardware is a bit long, but I think that's better than it being too short. That's okay. And again, I think Matt is off work now, so he's on his way. We have a Matt inbound, and he will probably contribute to the stream once he arrives. That's my guess. Or he'll like harass me and be like, "Get off, you need to end it." I don't know how he's going to react. I think like a long time ago, possibly even last year, he had a brief cameo in one of my streams. He actually just got a his streaming camera in the mail like this week. He was setting it up last night and showing me, like, he got one of those Ring ones that has like the ring light on it or whatever. And I've talked about Matt in the past in my streams, and I mentioned that he's a gamer. Like, he doesn't do anything technical, he doesn't do any hardware hacking or electronics. I know him from like my early 20s, through other gamer friends of mine that I had back at the time. And he is just a hardcore gamer, so he's going to stream playing all sorts of different games. I think he has an excellent taste in the games that he plays. He actually curates stuff, and at least once or twice a year will come over and introduce me to a bunch of new stuff, which I appreciate, because that is how I stay sane. I literally keep myself healthy mentally by playing some sort of video game once or twice a year, and I just sort of depart from reality and embrace another reality other than mine. And it's usually something that he's brought to my attention. So I'm hoping that he does start streaming soon, because I'll definitely watch him. Not just because he's my friend, but he's actually really funny. He has probably the best radio voice of anyone I've ever known. He's funny as hell, and he's incredibly charismatic. Like, I think he should have been streaming years ago. Like, people would actually want to watch him. So I'm hoping that he starts doing so soon on Twitch or whatever, wherever those gamers do their streaming. Is 35 really too short? Yes. Weird. Sucks I have to use 40s on these. God damn it. Oh well. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Fun stuff. I still don't know if Shape Daddy's coming tonight. I don't know if he's gonna... He just started a new job and has been really tired on Fridays. So he hasn't been coming, like, quite as frequently, but hopefully he's able to make it today. It'd be nice to, like, get the group together. I think this Sunday is also a card night. So hopefully we can all get together to do that too. Blip. Got too tight? No, it's perfect. Cool. Almost done with the hard part. I also need to put the other gears on this part right here. There's one here that I can put on now. The other one, I don't know where the hell it is. Oh, it's here. That's the other gear. Although I might reprint these if I have issues with them, because I printed these gears back when the printer wasn't calibrated quite as well, and it like mashed the first layer. So there's kind of like a lip around the first layer that sticks out slightly farther than the rest of the print. And I don't like that. So I might reprint these gears since they do kind of need to be one consistent profile. Oops. Don't throw your gears around, Sarah. But they might work fine, we'll see. I did allow for a little bit of tolerance on these, so it might be fine. I don't know. Let's try 12s. 12? No. 10? That was a 22. That's fine. 12, 22, 16. 16 might work. Oh god. No. Where are my 20s? Did I put them away? Are they not out here? These are not 12s. I don't believe you. Are these 12s? These can't be 12s. They do not look like 12s. Doesn't matter what size they are, they look like they're what I'm gonna use. Are those 12s? I don't believe it. Those cannot be. Where are my fucking calipers? I'm not believing that. Alright. Hopefully this works. Again, as with everything I make, I have no idea if any of this is actually going to work, as well as I'm kind of depending on it working. There's always a chance it'll be a big fat failure, but I don't know, that's like all life, right? There's always a chance that all things in life will be a big fat failure, in spite of our best efforts. Yes, Dante, I'm using Fusion 360 as well. I used to use SketchUp before I had access to Fusion 360, and it was kind of a nightmare. But I did use SketchUp for a while, for a lot of my bigger projects. I think I switched to Fusion when I started making these tasting feet, because it was absolutely necessary at that point, since they were much more complex, like, mechanical systems, that I used something that had a little bit more power, or, I don't know, ability to edit things, which SketchUp definitely did not have. Oh, hi Micus! Oh, you woke up at 2 a.m. Go back to bed, it's like early, or late, I can't even tell. Oh, you can give me a virtual hug. I'm giving you a virtual hug back. Virtual hug. Oh, man. But yeah, I did put up a new video yesterday. I feel bad. Again, they're recaps of things that I built in the past, so they're not, like, super exciting. They're not like super new content, but they are necessary. I kind of wanted to do them before I moved on to the new stuff that I'm going to do. There we go. So it's not as smooth as I'd like. So yeah, I'll probably, I mean, it works, but I'll probably reprint them just so that they are a little bit smoother. I mean, you can't tell what the amount of not friction, but stiffness is by watching the video. But I'm gonna describe to you that there's a little bit of catch to the gears. Like, they are spinning, but it's not as smooth as I think they could be, so I might reprint those two tinier gears down here just to alleviate the not butteriness. I guess I can put these on now too. I think. I think these were 50s, or if not 45s. Really hope they are not 50s, because I'm out. I will have to reference my cache of auxiliary hardware if they did require 50s, which it looks like it did. No. Okay. Where was my auxiliary bag? My bag. That's not it. Ah, here it is. Hopefully I can find 250mm pieces of hardware in that, otherwise I am SOL for the moment. Ah, so good. So refreshing. Huh. These might be it. Is this where all my size 50 pieces of hardware ran off to? They're in this bag. This bag. That's an Allen wrench. I think these are both 50s. We shall see. Ah. Fuck. I might need something, since the wall of this is thicker, I might actually need a piece of hardware that is wider than a 50. I might actually need to use threaded rod, which I have. So I'm probably gonna have to custom cut a piece of threaded rod to use in place of a, just to show you what I'm looking at right now. So the longest hardware that I have currently is 50mm screws, and I would need to capture this gear roller piece right here. With I think in the past I did use a size 50, but I made the wall of this capture piece right here a few millimeters thicker, and if I remember correctly, 2 years ago, when I built this, the size 50 hardware captured this roller, but just barely. So since I increased the width of this wall right here to capture the bearing that I added, it's no longer going to have enough meat on the other side that I can screw onto the end. So is it turning? It is turning. It's chunky. There we go. Eek. Whoop, right out of there. Yeah. They're working at least. So I think what I'm going to need to do is, for one, I need to reprint those red gears so that they are a bit better. For two, I need to cut some threaded wire. It probably like 55mm or 56mm long, so that I can capture this thing in place on either side with a nut, and I don't have to fuss with screws or hardware. I can just use the threaded rod, and it is what it is. I'll cut it to size. I need to go out to the garage to do that, so it's probably not going to happen today. Hey Vixen, how are you doing? Welcome to the stream. It's happy hour. It's actually past happy hour. How long have I been doing this? 3 hours already. Jeez. Ugh. Hope I get to sewing. If we don't end up getting in the pool, then I'm definitely going to sit on the couch and sew. Especially if it's my night to pick the movies, I'm gonna like put stuff on that I know I can watch while doing something else, and then I'm gonna sit on the couch and just sort of like stitch my elastic gun vest. That you guys don't need to see. I mean, you don't need to see any of this, but that's gonna be extra boring because that's just sewing. I'll probably I'll do a video showing what it looks like once it's done, but it basically, like, it's a straight piece that goes across the top of the back, like over the trapezius, and then it curves over the front of the, whatever, the shoulders on either side, goes under the armpits, and then it wraps around and crisscrosses across the middle of the back and reattaches to itself. So it's basically kind of like a butterfly shape with one piece of elastic. But it doesn't just do that, it threads through the actual loops of the assembly on either side while it's making that path. So it's the assembly is actually captured onto the elastic piece in 3 different points. So it creates a nice little balanced triangle. I'll show you what I mean, maybe, in a minute. Cool. I can do the rest of the rollers real quick. So there's these ones. Boop. Noodle boops. Ooh, I'm just starting to feel the beer a little bit. Feels good. It's definitely taking the edge off of my, like, surge of stress that I was experiencing earlier today. I was using the 40s for that. Good beer. Noodle says mommy needs to get back to working on his legs because he needs his new body before his husk gets put in a box and sent away. He says the soul needs to be transported. Oh God, get in there. There we go. Is that the correct size? Yes. Okay. I have 3 more things like this to assemble after this one. Amazingly. And they're all turn crank, every single one of them. I think the next one I'm gonna do is the litmus foot. The one with the cassette rollers on the inside. Like, I have most of the parts printed for that one. And then, after that, I think I might do the bean foot assembly. That one is actually split into, since there's like 2 different things that foot does, I've split it into 2 different modules. There's the toe one, and then there's the bean Archimedes screw. You're gonna be able to like turn a crank and make the Archimedes screw turn and drop, not beans, because the beans didn't work very well, but like little cylinders into the channels and watch them travel up the Archimedes screw. That's the plan for that one. And then the toes, you just press down on the top and they actuate. That's already done. I don't have to build that. The last one is the juicing mechanism. That one is kind of stumping me because I don't really know how you would manually actuate that thing. I'm gonna probably have to talk to like Shape Daddy about that tonight if he ends up coming. I'll figure something out. Something will be figured out. Alright, so this is the last roller. I actually can't install the, yeah, actually I technically can. I could. But I shouldn't because I can't tension them yet. I need to wait until I get those geared rollers at the top, these things, installed before I attach the belt. Because that's the only way I can know how tight I need to make it. Oh, Matt's here. So yeah, that's how I did it. I put the belts on and then I sew them. I sew them in place once I've installed them so that I can make them the proper tightness. I already slept 8 hours. Wow. But a question, when you mentioned the beans and Noodle's leg, what kind of them may sound strange, but in my language, bean, frijoles, or favas Ah, frijoles or favas. It's they're actually pinto beans, I think. I'm pretty sure they're pinto beans. Yeah. I think I put pinto beans in his feet. I'm pretty sure. I have to check. I have it written down somewhere. I actually bought a bag of mixed beans, and I tried all of them, and I think one of them worked better than the others, because like there's like kidney beans, oh god, lima beans. I'll be right back. I gotta get the door. I talked to him briefly, but...
No, you didn't.
No, I did.
No, I know what you did.
No, I did not get an answer out of him. Say hi. Say hi to everybody. Come here.
Absolutely not.
I've been talking about you.
I don't wanna.
You don't want to?
I don't wanna.
Oh, but they know all about you, and they love you. Matt, come here. Here. I'm gonna even switch the
Oh,
scene.
no. Hello.
It's
Hello,
a
Internet.
Matt.
How are you?
I've been assembling.
There's lots of blue here.
It's the best blue.
Yeah?
Yeah, there. You can be on that side.
I don't want to. Nope, this is it. I'm done.
You're in the front
Goodbye.
and center. Oh, no. You're...
Yep.
No, you need a drink, and then you can come back, and you can, like, hang out with me. Yeah?
No.
I can show you what I've been making. Do you want to see? Do you want to see? It's
No.
the best.
No.
I'm making a
Goodbye.
throat. It's a throat. You turn the crank on the side, and it swallows up.
Ew.
It's a reverse throat that up swallows. It's a foot throat.
That's instead of the corkscrew bean delivery?
Oh no, I'm doing that one too. I'm making.
Oh, are you... Okay, gotcha.
I'm making turn crank versions of all of them so people can like
Yes.
manually.
Of course.
Because the ones with the motors in them break because they have, motors in them. Not that these have, they could break too, but. Pizza.
Alright. Bye.
Ah! What do you want to drink?
I don't know.
No?
I said I don't know.
Do you want me to make you something? Do you want a Bloody Mary?
Yes, if there is Bloody Mary to be had.
There's definitely Bloody Mary to be had. Oh man. Everybody says hi.
Hello.
That's Uncle Matt. Oh, what else did I make today? I made all these legs. Noodle's new legs.
So many legs.
Oh god. Look.
Ooh.
So
Those are weird.
those are the new,
Alright, I'll come back over here, fine.
those are the new bones.
You're irritating.
I was telling you about, or I was not telling you, I was telling them about you got a new camera and that you're going to start streaming video game doing.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. So he's the video game gamer dude who does
You
all
don't
the
want to
games.
watch me, it's bad.
He's good and he plays everything.
No, I don't.
You play
Nice.
like a good variety.
Anyway, tell me about the legs. This is not my shameless plug. This is your
I can plug you. I
thing.
plug Mark too. Like I'm like
whatever.
I talk about his stream that he never does. I'm like, Mark's gonna stream and then he doesn't.
Yeah.
Okay, so earlier I assembled I did this part yesterday. I attached the motors to the fibula. Mark tapped the holes in the back here for the spring bit that needs to stick out. And after he did that, I was able to attach the tibia up here and the fibula down here to the femur. This bit right here, this gear attaches the square stock to the part up here, this cylindrical pipe, which chucks into his pelvis. This is his pelvis. So there are all of these bearings down here at the bottom. And this part right here is the same size and it chucks up really tightly into these. Like I might not be able to get it in or out. Oh, there it goes. It takes a little bit of finesse because it's like the exact size. But once it's in, this thing turns really nice, and it doesn't actually wiggle from side to side, and it will keep all of the femurs parallel to one another so that they don't torque into one another when they rotate.
That makes sense.
So there's a bearing here, and then there's a bearing up here. So there's like probably 60 millimeters of gap between the two, and that's to make sure that the femur chucks in perfectly straight,
Cool.
and they don't intersect. So I assembled the rest of these during the stream, and I assembled this whole thing with the rollers. There's a couple things I can't do yet because I need to cut some threaded rod for these guys. Fuck. Those, the geared rollers at the top. The hardware that I have, if I like switch this down to the bottom, this is a 50 millimeter screw. It's the longest one that I have. They watched me try and do this, but if I push this through, well, I can just do it this way without the P's. It doesn't actually, none pokes out on this side. So I'm gonna have to cut some threaded rod because I don't have hardware longer than this, so that this can be captured. But
Right.
once that's in place, you'll be able to
Of course.
do this, and
Do this, and then it'll do the thing and the stuff.
yeah, and then the belts are like over there somewhere. And then these go on last because I have to tension them,
Mhm.
and then sew them in place once they're like tensioned properly. But that's actually goop.
Yep.
You know, it's silicone goop, the red kind that you
Yeah.
get from the motor butt store.
Yeah, I do.
And then this is gonna go on the inside to give a little bit of tack to the part that makes contact with the roller.
rollers.
Yeah, so that they'll roll. And then this side, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do to this side. It's just yellow because I like yellow.
Of course.
But there needs to be some texture on this so that it can actually scoop stuff off the ground. So like people at my exhibit will be able to put this on top of something and then like do one of these and it will swallow like buttons and pieces of pizza off of the ground.
That's not big enough to hold a piece of
A
pizza.
whole pizza.
No.
There's a whole pizza go inside the throat, and then Noodle can swallow. He can swallow all over Europe.
Great.
That's the plan.
Yeah?
Yeah. We're gonna get wet. Yeah? Are you ready to get in the wet? It's gonna be the best. Did I tell you what we're making for dinner?
Nope.
We're making buffalo chicken wraps.
Delicious.
Yes, with blue cheese sauce.
Sauce.
Blue cheese sauce. Ah,
Good, because I'm hungry again.
I haven't eaten yet today. I've had, this
Mm,
is my second one of these.
that doesn't surprise me somehow.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I've been like running all over the place trying to get all my stuff built, but not eating food like a human.
Yeah.
But anyhow, I don't know. But I've been doing this for 3 hours and 20 minutes, so I'm gonna wrap the stream, and I just recapped what I did, so I think that's a good ending point, right? Right, guys? I don't want to be a butt to Matt. I want to get him lubricated and fed. That's what you're supposed to do to your friends, right?
Yes.
Oh, hey, look, it's a Tony.
There he is.
Is it pool night or too cold?
We don't know yet.
We don't know. The jury's still out. But in any case, you should come over here because we're eating soon and we're going to do movies regardless.
We
I
don't have
think.
a person yet.
We don't have a what?
Read the chat.
Oh, whose night is it? No, we haven't picked yet.
Yeah.
We kind of decided that if you don't come, then we just kind of do...
We just watch whatever.
We watch whatever. So we're going to pick once you're here if you come. So are you coming? Ha. Here, I can switch the camera.
There, you just get beard. That's it.
There's just beard.
Yeah, that's it.
I can do that too.
It's a bad look. Ew, that stuff feels very gross. Goodbye, stream.
Go get yourself a booze.
I wanted to point at you, but there's a TV in the way. Alright.
Oh, what do you want? Wait, what? Why? What?
I don't know, just finish up.
Okay. Tony, come over. Do it. We're gonna test the pool out. We're gonna stick our toes in it and see if it's cold. Because it's pool night. It's Friday. That's what you do. But yes, thank you everybody for keeping me company today. Thank you for watching my process while I get all of this stuff underway. Like, I really hope that I'm able to, like, actually get all of it built before I have to send it away. I'm probably going to be streaming again tomorrow. Maybe. Like, if I do in fact get my, elastic gun vest stitched together, I will probably end up going to DEF CON just to, like, visit my friends and everything for a little bit. I know that if I say right now that I'm only going to go for a couple of hours, that's not what's going to happen. I anticipate that in the occasion that I do go down to DEF CON proper, I will be there forever, and I'm not going to get any work done. So let's just say on Sunday, I will pick this up and then continue making progress. I wish everybody a good weekend. Enjoy the rest of your Friday or Saturday or whatever day it is in your part of the world where you're hanging out right now. And as always, I don't know. Thank you for keeping me company. Thank you for watching, and keep making awesome stuff. I'm off. Oh, and good. Tony says, yay. He'll be heading over and bring... Cool. All right. Sweet. We're having buffalo chicken wraps. I'm gonna go finish my drink and stick my toes in the water. All right, did I miss anything? Oh, thank you. I'm glad you guys have a cool place to hang out. I'm happy that I get to hang out with you. Like, this is great. Okay, guys, take care. Enjoy the rest of the weekend until I see you next in a couple of days. Now I'm gonna find where to stop the stream, because I always have a problem doing that for some reason. There, okay.